Now, if somebody asks you or you get a question that how you are going to make a graph or how you are going to indicate the rate of reaction with respect to time. So just look at the board how you are going to write that. This is in the case of chemical equilibrium, right? So I have rate of reaction versus time. So what do we get to see? That the rate at which the reactant decrease, the concentration of the reactant, suppose I'll take an example first, right? So this is A and B, which leads to the formation of C and D. Again, I'm forming a graph for you so that you don't get confused, right? So this is a graph, this is the rate of reaction and this is the time, right? So if I wish to see, these are the reactants and these are the products, you know that. Now if I wish to see that the rate of the reaction just decrease with time, and we know that the rate of the product increase with time, right? So how I am going to indicate, I am going to start here for the reactant. So that means the rate at which the AB decreases, it is the reactant rate, right? And this is the product which keeps on increasing, right? So we get this thing, this line indicates the equilibrium. That means the concentration of the reactant, or you can say the rate at which the reactant getting converted into the product and the rate by which the product is converting back into the reactant just indicates the same. So this is how you're going to explain it with the graph, right? And if you get to make a graph between concentration of reactants, right, and time. Now how you're going to make it? So we are going to make it this way, that the concentration decreases in this manner, right, the reactant. Suppose A and B, this is for A and B, and the product increases in this manner, right? So this is C and D, and this state, this one, just corresponds to the equilibrium state. That means when the concentration is just going to be similar. So this is how you're going to explain by the use of graphs, right? Now you know that you are just familiar with the physical equilibrium now, you are familiar with the chemical equilibrium now, you are just familiar with the characteristics of the physical and the chemical equilibrium also, right? And you know that the catalysts do not have any effect, you know that the equilibrium can be achieved from either direction, you know we need to have a closed system, and moreover you know that it can be achieved from the either direction. Right. Now we have certain kind of laws which are just obeyed by the chemical reactions, and there is a certain kind of law which is obeyed when the reaction achieves an equilibrium, right? Now we'll be studying those laws. So first we have law of mass action. Law of mass action. Now before explaining you this law, I am taking an example. Just look at the board. I have a reactant A and I say it is getting converted into the product, right? So what does law of mass action says? It say that the rate at which the A is going to form the product just depends upon the active mass of the A. Again I am repeating, you know, I think you are familiar with the term rate of reaction because I am often using this term rate of reaction. Rate of reaction just refers to the speed at which the reaction is taking place, right? If I, like in this case, I am just donating this, that the A is getting converted into the product, right? So I am saying that the rate of this reaction, the rate at which A is getting converted into the product, right, is just depend upon the active mass of the A. So I write the rate of the reaction just depend upon the directly proportional on the active mass. Active mass means concentration, and for concentration we need to write the bracket, right? So I'm just writing it depends upon the concentration of A, right? So this is for an example when I took one reactant, right? Now I'm taking two reactants in a chemical reaction. I say A and B just react to form products, right? So this law says that the rate of this reaction now depend upon, obviously the active, like it depend upon the active mass of A, and now in this case we have got two reactants, so obviously it is going to depend on the active masses of all the reactants which are present here. Like in this case we have two reactants, so it is going to depend upon the rate of reaction just depend upon the active mass of A and product of the active mass of the B. So that means if the reaction involved two reactants, we write the rate of reaction is directly proportional to the product of the active masses of the two reactants, right? Like now I transform this reaction into a more you can say a complicated manner. I say there are A moles of A, there are B moles of B which unite to form products. Now how according to this law of mass action I am going to write? So it says again the rate of reaction depends upon the concentration of A again raised to their respective moles. So just write the moles as a superscript, right? Again the product of the active mass of B raised to their respective moles. So this is so simple. See how you have to write. If you have one reactant, the rate is going to depend on the concentration, or you can say the active mass of that reactant. If you have got two reactants, just the rate of reaction is going to depend upon the product of the active mass of both the reactants, right? And if we have the moles also along with it, so just the rate of reaction depends upon the product of the active masses of the reactant raised to their respective stoichiometric coefficients, or you can say raised to the respective moles which are present in the reactant. So by either way you can write the reaction, you can write the law of mass action when it is specified. So it just states that the rate at which the substance from the product just depend upon the active mass, on its active mass. And if we consider a chemical reaction, then the rate of chemical reaction just depend upon the product of the active masses of the reactants raised to their respective parts, or the stoichiometric coefficient, or the moles which are involved in the chemical reaction. So this is what the law of mass action states. I think it's clear now. Like if you get a question and somebody asks you, like if I give you an equation, I write that C plus O2 forms CO2, and if I ask you that the rate of reaction, on what factor the rate of reaction depend in this case, so simply just see the reactants, like reactants and C and O2. So obviously rate is going to depend upon, or you can say it is directly proportional to the concentration of the carbon, product of the concentration of O2, as there are no moles, so I have not written any moles. If there were, we would have written those moles as a superscript. So that is how the rate of reaction is going to depend on the, so just keep in mind that the rate of reaction is just depend upon the active masses of the reactants, right? And active masses are taken in terms of concentration. And how do we indicate concentration? Just writing the bracket and enclosing the name of the reactant in that. Like I have written A in bracket, so it indicates the concentration of the A. If I have written B in the bracket, it indicates the concentration of B. So anything which you are writing within the bracket, that means the concentration of that substance only, right? So I think it's clear with law of mass action now, right? So now we'll be deriving the law of chemical equilibrium as well. It is actually a quantitative relationship when the reaction achieves an equilibrium. So we are doing with law of chemical equilibrium, right? Now what happens in this case? To explain you this, I am taking an example. Look at the board. A and B are reactants. They are uniting to form C plus D, right? And at the same time, as the reaction is reversible, so C and D are getting converted back into the A and B. So that means it is a reversible reaction, right? So if I consider that the equilibrium is being achieved, that means the A and B concentration is now equal to the C and D concentration, or I can say the rate at which the forward reaction occurs is just equal to the rate at which the backward reaction occurs, right? So equilibrium just means that constancy in properties, and the second is the rate at which the forward reaction is occurring is similar to the rate at which the backward reaction is occurring, right? So what I am going to do in it, see, for the forward reaction to occur, what forward reaction is indicated by this? The conversion of AB to CD, right? So the rate of forward reaction, or what I'll do is I'll split the reaction in two terms so that it will be clear to you now. See, I'm just splitting these two reactions in two steps, but it is just for your convenience. Otherwise, you can write from the single reaction as well, right? So I'm just splitting it to make you understand in a better manner, right? So this is a forward reaction, right? So what do you get to see in this? In this, these are reactants and these are products, right? So as I told you, according to law of mass action, the rate of reaction depends upon the active masses of reactants, that is A and B, what you have in this case, right? Is it clear with you? I'm just removing the proportionality sign because we cannot use the proportionality sign in the formulas. We need to convert into the equal to sign, and for doing so, we need a constant, right? And sometimes the constant has specific name or units, and sometimes we just write the k, that is the constant of proportionality, or any other alphabet is used. Like in this case, the constant which is used, I'm writing, see, I'm writing rate, and you can say as a subscript I'm writing f. This means the rate for the forward reaction, right? So it depends upon, I'm converting the proportionality sign into the equal to, and I'm just writing the constant for that also. Forward reaction, product of this and this. I think it's okay with you now. You know that how to write it. I've just written the rate. I've written at the foot f means rate of the forward reaction. This is the constant for the forward reaction, concentration of A and the concentration of B, because these are the reactants, right? Now I'm writing it for the backward reaction as well. So what is the backward reaction? C plus D just unite to form A plus B, right? So that means in the backward reaction, these are going to be reactants and these are going to be products, right? So how I'll write it? Now the rate of the reaction of the reversible reaction, so I am writing R at foot, right, is directly proportional to the concentration of the reactant, and in this case the concentrations is C and the reactant are C and the D. So I am just enclosing the C and the D in the brackets, in just stating that I am taking into the concentration of C and the concentration of D. This I have done, right. Now in the second step I am just removing the proportionality sign, and I am putting the constant Kr. Now you know that what is Kr, it is constant for the reverse direction, right. So just I am writing again the reactants. So this is how. Now we know at equilibrium we have the rate of forward reaction is just equal to the rate of the reverse reaction, right. So this is the statement for the forward reaction, and this is the statement for the reverse reaction, right. I think it's clear from the board, right. So I am just putting their values here. So what I am going to write? I'm going to write the expression for the rate F, that is Kf, concentration of A, concentration of B, and for the reverse Kr, concentration of C into concentration of D. I think it's clear now, right. Now what I am doing is I am just dividing this equation by this, so I can write it this manner, Kf upon Kr. Similarly I can write concentration of CD. This I am just moving from this side to here. It is in multiply, so obviously it will be dividing this side, right. Now what is the ratio of Kf to Kr? It is the Kc, that is the equilibrium constant for chemical reaction. So this indicates that the expression used for it is C into D divided by A into B, right. So that means this is actually a law of chemical equilibrium, or now I can define you in a better way. What does it indicate? It indicates that the equilibrium constant is equal to the ratio of the products, concentration of the products to the concentration of the reactants, right. And this is how you are going to write. And if you get the moles also along with it, if in case there are moles also present, so just write the moles as the powers or as stoichiometric coefficients of the respective ones, like this D, A and B. So this is how you are going to write the equilibrium constant expression for a chemical equilibrium. What does this, this is what stated by the law of the chemical equilibrium, right. So what does law of the chemical equilibrium states? It states that the equilibrium constant for a chemical reaction is just equal to the ratio of the product, because you saw that C and D were products, right. So it is equal to, or in a general way we can write Kc is the concentration of products divided by concentration of reactants raised to their respective powers, which occur as a mole in a chemical reaction. So this is how you are going to explain the law of mass action. You know how to write the rate. If somebody asks you what is the rate of the reaction, you know that how to write it, right. And if somebody asks you to write the expression for the K, you know that how to write it. It is just you need to write the concentration of the product divided by the concentration of reactant, and if there are you say if some kind of moles are present, just write on at the top. Like I am explaining this how to write this expression with an example. See, if I take an example of formation of hydrogen iodide. So we have H2 plus I2, reversible reaction, Hi, I am just balancing by putting 2. Right. So how I am going to write the Kc expression for it? So that means I know Kc is written as the concentration of product. That means the concentration of product is Hi, because this is product and these are reactant, as I told you. And we have the moles also. I am going to write the mole as a superscript, right, dividing by the concentration of the reactants. So this is how I am going to write the expressions of equilibrium constant for different reactions. I think you have got it now, and we can write it for the any kind of reaction, and if we have certain kind of moles, just don't hesitate. It doesn't make a reaction more complex, just you need to write the mole as the superscript on the reactants or the products wherever it is present. So this is how we write the law of the chemical equilibrium, the law of or you can say the expression for the equilibrium constant, right. Now this Kc actually indicate the equilibrium constant for the complete reaction, right. But suppose we have just started a reaction, like I am taking an example, we have started with H2 and I2, and H2 and I2 just started to react with each other and they are forming the Hi, right. The reaction hasn't reached the equilibrium stage. I am just repeating again, the reaction hasn't reached the equilibrium state, or you can say we are not aware that the equilibrium has achieved or not, right. So in the mid of the reaction, when you need to know the you can say the concentration of the reactant which have been consumed or the concentration of product which have been formed. So how you can do that? You can do it in a similar way, just replacing this Kc by the Qc. This Qc is now concentration quotient, right. The concentration quotient means we are just checking the concentration when the reaction is still taking place. It just helps us to know that whether the equilibrium has been achieved or it is yet to be achieved, right. So we write in the same way, like if I've told you, I'm taking an example, the reaction has just started, I don't know that equilibrium is being achieved or not, I'm not aware of the equilibrium, but the reaction is still taking place. So with the passage of time, as I start the reaction, in the mid of the reaction, I'm just checking the concentration. So I'm just writing the, you can say the concentration question for it. So I'll be writing in the same way as I wrote for the I2. But this indicate that this is for the whole chemical reaction, and this Qc indicate the concentration question at a specific time, at a specific instant of time when the reaction is still taking place, right. And if this Qc value comes out to be equal to this Kc value, that means the reaction has achieved a stage of equilibrium, right. And if this Qc value is less than Kc value, right, so that means the equilibrium hasn't achieved yet. It has to be, the reaction will take place in a forward direction, and there is yet to be achieved the stage of the equilibrium, right. And if this Qc is greater than Kc, this indicates that the reaction will now take place in a backward direction because it has just crossed the stage of the equilibrium. That means in this case, the backward reaction is going to be favored. We will be discussing these points later on also, but at this moment I just told you these points because I wanted you to know that what is the actual, you can say the, what actual information we get from this Qc, right. So this is what I have told you, but we will be discussing these factors later on also, right. So now I think it's clear how to write an expression for this thing Kc for a chemical reaction. So whenever we write, you can say the expression for the Kc, we write in terms of the concentration, right. But if a chemical reaction involves the gaseous component, right, suppose I take an example of some gaseous component, right, I am just taking an example. So suppose these all are considered to be gases, right. So in case of gases, what you do is, like for solid and liquid, we are taking into the concentration factor, right. We are writing the bracket and we are just enclosing the concentration of that substance taken in moles per liter, right. But in case of the gaseous substance, what we can do is we can take the partial pressure instead of the concentration, right. So the expression in which we will be writing will be C. The difference is that it was Kc, it will be now Kp, right? That means that the equilibrium concentration, it is the equilibrium constant for the pressure, right? So the same way we will be writing, that is the concentration of the product, but it won't be the concentration actually, it will be the, like, I'll write both the expression together to avoid confusion. So if I want to write in terms of the concentration, I'll be writing this, you know that now, how I'm writing this, right? Now if you want to just convert it into the pressure, how we'll be writing, we'll be indicating the pressure, right? It's like for AB, it is the partial pressure of AB, this is the partial pressure of A, this is the partial pressure of B, right? So this is how I'm going to writing. So I don't think that it makes a great difference. Yes, it makes a great difference, but there is no such difference in the writing manner. Just what you are doing in the gaseous state, you are considering the pressures, and in case of the solid and liquid, we are taking into the consideration, that is the concentration in moles per liter. So it is not any difficult task to write in terms of Kp. I think it's just clear. You're just writing the pressures. You'll have the values for the pressure, and you're just writing the pressure in the same way, product upon the reactant one. And if there are certain moles also, like if there are certain moles also, so we are just raising these terms with respect to their moles. So this is what we are doing, and the same thing we were doing here. So this is how we are just writing. So it is just you can say the terms of writing that is being changed, otherwise there is no such change, right? Now as we have the different relation between the Kp and the Kc, we need to have a certain kind of relation which relate the Kp and Kc. That means there must exist some relation which relate Kp and Kc. So there is a relation which we are going to study. Now we are just going to relate Kp and Kc. Right. Now how we are relating Kp with Kc? We know the ideal gas equation, as you have already done in your previous classes, that PV is equal to nRT. You know that, right? I can write this equation in the same way by dividing volume by N as this, right? Number of moles present per liter indicate the concentration. So that means I can write this expression as this. Yes, I can do. So I'm just taking an example into consideration to just relate them. I'm taking a reaction. Right. Now I'm going to write the expression in terms of the Kc, right? So Kp first, they all are the gaseous components, and I'm writing the expression in terms of Kp. These all are gaseous components. So I'm writing in terms of Kp. So what I'll be writing, this will be partial pressure of C, partial, and we are just considering the moles as well. So I'm just writing in terms of the partial pressure raised to the divided by the reactants. This we have done, right? Now we know that the pressure we can relate with the CRT. We know that. So that means we can just put this value in this case and this value for this. So I'm just putting these values. So that means for PC it is going to be, like if I want to write PC, it can be concentration of CRT, right? I can write this for this. Similarly, I can write for PD concentration of DRT, and for PA I can write the concentration of ART, and for PB I can write concentration of BRT, right? So this what I'm doing, I'm just putting these values here. So it comes out to be CRT, and we have the moles also, right? So I'm just writing the moles as well. Just substitute their values. It's not difficult to do that, it's just simple. Just we are putting the values in terms of the partial pressures. Right. So in this way we are doing it, right? So now if I separate it, what it is going to be, if I separate them, so we are just going to have the relation. I'll just write the relation here so that you can look carefully and you can understand it. So if I just separate this relation, this can be written as this also. I'm just separating the concentrations and the RT values. and we have the RT. So we have different types of RT, that means different types of moles as well. So I'm just writing the delta N, which indicates the change in number of moles, like the C, D, A and B. I'm just writing the change in number of moles. So this, what we can write is, we know that the expression Kc, when the products are divided by the reactant, it just indicates Kc. So we can write Kp is equal to Kc RT delta N. So what does it indicate? This is actually a relation between the Kp and the Kc. That is what we did, we just transformed the ideal gas equation in terms of P, then we wrote it in the form of Kp, then we just separate it, right, and we know that these concentration terms are indicated by Kc. So this is what I have done, Kp is equal to Kc RT delta N. So this is the relation how we are just going to relate Kp and